conditions. Spike Ball, join the movement, and Fulcrum Media Group. We exist to share stories that matter.
In this first point of the game so far, we had a quick call. The field, or sorry, excuse me, the disc is on the far side of the field as we see a big time grab for the Triforce D. Now Triforce with the opportunity to break during this first point. Seattle in-person defense. Triangle moving the disc on this close side of the field. It looks like there was a foul called right there. I believe it is uncontested. Bodie Harmony doing great work for this Triforce team so far.
Disc on the sideline. Jasper putting on a big mark. Great job by throwing and going again by the Triforce. Triforce moving sideline to sideline at this moment. Really showing patience and also great attack with their legs right on the goal line. Looking for their ISO. Again, this handler quick movement by the Triforce, looking to throw and go and strike up lines. Just floating off to the break side. And again, Triforce with the goal. Some gritty D by Seattle, but Maddie finding the end zone. And you could really tell, Gavin finding the end zone. You can really tell that Seattle taking away that first option, but Triforce looking at option B, option C. Look there, pump fake, and then finding Gavin right on that inside break. Great timing and space by the Triforce end zone offense.
Yeah, and we saw Bodie get that assist again. He was putting in a lot of work earlier in that point, doing great things for this Triforce team as we see them break for the first point. Always an exciting opportunity to break the first point of the game, to go up 1-0 as your opponents are traveling in from across the country. Excited to kind of take control of this game early with the first break. We're going to see how Seattle is able to respond. Going down 1-0, we saw them moving the disc up that far side, but not able to connect on that deep shot. Great pressure from the Triangle D. We've seen some wonderful pull plays from this Seattle team. Excited to see what they run this second opportunity on offense.
And you can really tell Triforce coming out with energy and speed. Let's see. I'm looking for Seattle to kind of match that. Right now, Seattle came out a little flat. I mean, understandably that they're a little tired and things like that, but it is an energy game. Right now, this is the moment where Triforce just had a little more speed in their cuts, in their defense, and that was the difference. Right now, Seattle is looking a little gassed, and the heat might be getting to them, the turf might be getting to them, the travel might be getting to them, but there's all these excuses. But this is the game. We're being streamed, and we have to get up right now. I'm sorry, Seattle has to get up right now. My 206 bias is leaking through this stream a little bit. Apologies.
That's okay, Casey. It's been a long tour. We are so happy to bring this final game to you today. So excited to see what this Triforce team is able to bring to the game today, especially in this wind. We talked about it in the last game with that incredible game for the U20 girls. We have a bit of a crosswind. It's been gusty at times. It's shifting a little bit. So we're excited to see how the throwers and cutters are able to adjust in this wind.
So Seattle coming down in a vert stack. There's a kind of a poachy look from Triforce, switching that deep look. Now they're settled back into person, but kind of looking to poach that first couple and bracket that first couple cuts. Really great job of messing up pull plays and getting Seattle back out of kind of back on their end zone line, swinging the disc back and forth. Tony with the disc looking to break, tipped high. Darby with footwork, unable to bring it inside. Really difficult catch where it's floating away from you, having to make sure that you keep your feet in bounds and then off the fingertips of Darby.
We see number 51, Kevin Pignon, walking to pick up the disc for this Triforce team, using his pump fakes to command the offense. We see there an undercut and a grab from number 4, Albert Jan, doing work for this Triforce team.
And again, really quick handler movement. Those dishes kind of up lines, throw and goes, getting the disc to move sideline to sideline and changing the point of attack. As a defender, when teams move the disc side to side, that angle of attack is so difficult, and looking again to the end zone, not there, right on the doorstep. Triforce looking again to move it back to the center quickly. There's a call on the play, travel. It's going to be set up.
Kevin again with the disc on the front of the end zone, looking for, a quick dish into the end zone, but Seattle able to come up with the D. Seattle able to breathe a little bit deeper, knowing that they have another opportunity. And an unfortunate short field turnover for Seattle as Triforce goes the other way quickly into the end zone. Albert able to reel that disc in. Number 4 for Triforce, able to get some glory with the score.
And two kind of uncharacteristic drops by Seattle. You can tell that maybe there's just some mental fatigue or some physical fatigue, and there's kind of the fast pace of Triforce is really putting a lot of pressure on Seattle, and these kind of uncharacteristic drops are kind of causing by just the pressure that Triforce is putting on.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a timeout from Seattle, so we're going to take this moment to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. And welcome back. We've got an exciting game coming at you. Triforce able to get 2 points on the board so far. We saw a Seattle timeout after that last break. Excited to see what the Seattle offense is going to bring to us as they look for their first point of this game.
In kind of early game, there's kind of some butterflies or just like that mental check-in to see which team kind of comes out with the most energy and focus, and Triforce doing an amazing job of coming out hard and fast. It's really difficult to kind of sit and watch. There wasn't really a field space to warm up on as usual, so teams are kind of poaching different sidelines and things like that. So Triforce doing an amazing job mentally to kind of lock in and come out of the gates strong with 2 breaks. But that timeout was really good a chance for Seattle to breathe, to kind of like lock back in, to remember the pace that they normally play at, and just kind of focus on the small things. Right now, it's been kind of throwing and catching. You know, the drop by Darby, the drop by Jasper, all those things, all those plays, you normally see them make those plays, and kind of even greater and more impressive plays too. So I'm looking for Seattle to kind of respond right now, to take a breath and respond with the same energy and focus that we've seen all tour.
Yeah, and these early drops and breaks, they kind of build into your mindset throughout the game, right? Triforce is starting to feel like they're in control of this game in the moment. Seattle knowing that they've got to put something together to be able to score, and they know that they're going to have to kind of pull themselves out of this hole that they're in right now. So it builds into the mentality that you have going into this third point of the game. Super excited to see if Triforce continues the Ds that we've seen so far. They've been applying a lot of pressure. We've talked about the wind and the heat so much today, and it's going to be a big storyline throughout the whole game today, the wind and heat being having a big presence on the field.
And I'm also going to look to see how Seattle adjusts to this kind of quick throw and go movement by Triforce. They really like to use their handler movements and swinging it from sideline to sideline, but not kind of one long break that they're going to kind of go quickly fast. You can really tell that Kevin's behind the disc and loves to kind of throw, dish, and change the angle of attack. But also having the disc inside of his hands really makes the whole field dangerous. Again, a big gust of wind. Seeing how this affects this point, you can tell that the tents are flying away. Soren with the disc on the far side. Again, Kai, big target, going up and grabbing that disc. But all these throws are just being kind of a little wobbling and floating up. Wind affecting also speech, so I'm not sure if you heard that miscue, but that was definitely the wind wobbling my voice there.
Yeah, we're going to have some wobbly commentary coming at you today in this exciting game. We see this deep shot going up, hanging into the air. Seattle able to come up with that big-time D right now, which is a great opportunity for them. Seattle doing a great job of moving the disc down the field quickly. Martin with the disc right now looking into the end zone. It's not quite there. Seattle doing a great job with these little give-and-go movements, taking their time to find their open players.
Cam with the disc, looking again break side. Seattle doing a great job of attacking that break side, and again, moving sideline to sideline.
I believe it looks like there was a turnover in the end zone. It was difficult for us to tell on this far sideline. Triforce able to walk the disc up. Right now they're in their vertical stack in the middle of the field, and Triforce.
Unfortunate turn. Seattle going quickly on the goal line. Tapped in, looking at their dump. Kai getting open, throwing to the soft in the corner for the goal. Again, you can tell that both teams want to go fast. Both teams love using their handlers to kind of dish, move, and get breaks to change the angle of attack. You see Martin rushing to the disc, looking upfield for a little bit, finding Kai on this dump, and then Kai immediately going blow by, getting an opportunity to throw that break and hitting us off right in stride who's racing to the cone. There's so much timing that needs to happen. If that cut comes maybe a half a second late, the defense gets a chance to recover and make that a tough break throw. If that throw is a little low or high, all of a sudden Kai doesn't get his feet to throw under. Really impressive, fundamental ultimate right now that we're seeing on screen.
Yeah, and impressive that Seattle is able to keep their composure. They had yet to score. They had multiple turnovers on that point, and then able to pick up the disc quickly and go. That's a big momentum swing for the Seattle team as they're down. They're still down one break and looking to apply some pressure to the Triforce offense that we're getting a look at right now. And this Triforce team, very talented all the way through their roster, but also that have an incredibly impressive coaching staff, from their head coach, Jonathan Nethercutt, to their other coaches, Matt Gutro-Hannes having just won the Callahan, Sol Yannick, and Walker Matthews, adding a lot of depth and knowledge to this Triforce team. Those are big name players that are used to playing in big games. They're used to being on screen right there as we get a great look at Jonathan Nethercutt trying to stay cool out there. I think he's got a rocking the Camelback, staying hydrated so he can take care of the boys out on the field. But overall, this Triforce team, so talented from head coach all the way through the roster, and they know what it takes to play in these big games, right? You're being streamed, you're only playing one game today. What's it going to take to get into this game mentally?
And agree, and the coaching staff really showing up for these youth players on all sides, and it's just really important that, you know, not only are these players getting great fundamentals, but just the character building that the coaching staff does. As you can see, Triforce with the disc on the sideline, swinging back to the middle. I'm really impressed by the patience and of this Triforce offense, being able to attack the open side, attack when the opportunity is there, but also consistently attacking the middle and moving the disc, not trying to force anything right now. Finding and being patient, looking for your open receiver.
We see Sean Wiles with the disc as a pick was called downfield. A lot of traffic, a lot of people running through. Great defensive pressure from this team. Not able to get there. It looks like a foul is going to be called. We have number 3, Josh Singleton, with the disc, swinging it across the field. Triforce showing that they're willing to be patient, continuing to swing the disc to the far side of the field, looking for an easy shot into the end zone.
Great break by Daniel to not only get it offline and then immediately throw and go. Just relieves so much pressure when you finally get off that line, able to work back. Josh finding the end zone on the open side, and you see Triforce celebrating. So here, Daniel with the disc, looking, and the difference of being on the sideline and in the middle in the end zone is so big, where all of a sudden this is a big cut with space, so that you can also throw that continue on that same side. If you're trapped on the sideline, you don't get that cut, and you definitely don't get that continue cut for Triforce. Triforce doing an excellent job of being disciplined, patient, and still always being in attack mode. I've talked a lot about being patient and also being in attack mode. It's so hard when your coach is saying be patient, be patient. A lot of times when you hear that as a player, you look off open throws, you stop attacking up line. But this Triforce team being patient, not forcing throws, but still attacking. Still attacking up line, still throwing amazing breaks to the middle, still going into these difficult, like, kind of cutting, winning your matchup as cutters. A really impressive job by Triforce. At this moment, we really want to thank our sponsor, 5 Ultimate. 5 Ultimate is the premier provider of ultimate apparel and gear. As the official partner of Team USA, 5 is committed to producing uniforms of the highest quality for Ultimate players by Ultimate players. Play hard, have fun, 5 Ultimate. Thanks again. 5 Ultimate has been all over the place with providing us sun hoodies, these wonderful reversibles. 5 Ultimate is just a really fun company too, producing kind of really the spirit of Ultimate in their apparel.
Yeah, and we saw that 5 Ultimate was also providing the U24 players. Congrats to all U24 teams. USA was able to sweep and bring home golds in every division, and awesome to see those players rocking the 5 Ultimate jerseys as well. All right, so we've got ourselves a game here. Triforce still up a break, able to hold on that last point that we saw. And now we're going to see the Triforce D come out. Excited to see if they're going to come down in person, if they're going to throw a couple of junks. Again, we've got a kind of steady breeze, but also big gusty moments that are really affecting this game right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting in this tour how teams establish themselves early. A lot of teams for the past couple, like Buddha and Devil, were trying to establish their deep game, where Devil is doing Triforce doing a great job of establishing their quick handler movement, getting break throws. We haven't seen a lot of deep shots from Triforce, but they're establishing their quick breakthrows and sideline movement. I'm not going to be shocked when Triforce gets their deep looks off this game, but I think it's really cool to see how they establish we are going to attack you side to side and aggressive and all the break throws and making the field really wide and making it really tough for the defenders to guard.
We saw some great handler movement right there. Jasper getting that give-go movement, having the momentum up to cut up line. He was going to take the deep shot earlier. He takes it now to Martin. A huge grab and tumble afterwards. What a fantastic grab from that young man. Great shot from Jasper, and Martin able to do what he can. We've got Jasper throwing the backhand here, and we're going to call this the 5 Ultimate play of the game, folks. Watch Martin able to read the disc, grab it out of the air, and then a fun little tumble to reel in the score for Seattle Silly Saurs.
Yeah, a super fun tumble. Also a really difficult throw. Jasper leaning in, throwing an arcing backhand. In this wind, a lot of times that backhand can get caught and get pushed off this out of bounds. Jasper putting enough touch and angle and also just snap of the wrist to make sure that that just doesn't get caught in the wind and kind of sail off.
Absolutely exciting to see that throw go up. Jasper had it actually wound up to be a forehand before that foul was called, and then took the time. Martin still able to get the deep cut off after the foul was called. There we see some love for number 12. Looks like Jack McCleary. There you go. We love you, number 12. A great community coming out and supporting this Triforce team. What an excellent opportunity, not only to showcase these games on the live stream. Shout out to all of you who have been watching every single game with us so far. I know there's some of you out there. But also an incredible opportunity to come out and watch these players play locally. A lot of times in these big tournaments, you don't necessarily get to see your teams play because they're always traveling to different tournaments out of town. So we love all the communities that we've been able to see so far. Shout out to Kelly Johnson, been able to put this tour together. Nothing would have gone anywhere close to as well as it has been without the work of Kelly Johnson. And now we're seeing the Seattle poll.
And yeah, loving the fans coming out, showing their support. And also, if you're a young coach or thinking about being a coach, just showing up for these players is so important. You learn so much as a coach, just being around these players, and also just being able to show up and know that these players are supported. So if you're a young coach out there or a coach thinking about, oh, should I do it, but maybe I'm not a big name in club, coming out, just being there, creating a positive environment is so important for these youth.
And we see Seattle with a break opportunity. They came out bracketing the side stack from Triforce. One thing that I saw that I loved was David Atwood doing a fantastic job guarding the back of that side stack, communicating with his teammates about, hey, switch here, hey, switch there, and Seattle able to hit the D and then convert this into a break opportunity, tying the game back at threes. This is a huge point for the Seattle team.
And again, just this beautiful end zone offense where they're going sideline to sideline, attacking the break side, throwing open, going open. You can see Tony throwing to the break side to Adkin. Adkin then looking to the cone with a shimmy and a beautiful kind of inside flick to David with a big time spike. And we're at that break. So that kind of early game lull from Seattle where they're kind of not having their legs underneath them or not matching the energy of Triforce, they're getting this opportunity after that timeout to really just kind of breathe and go. Just thinking back to that timeout was so huge and such an energy boost for Seattle. 3-3. And we have ourselves another nail biter, Abby. I am getting just emotionally, my heart can't take these nail biters anymore.
Yeah, we've been so lucky to have incredible games. We see the smiles and the love from the Seattle teammates. The U20 girls, they just played an incredible nail-biter game themselves, but they're out here making Martin cold on the sideline in this hot, hot weather. What an incredible showcase of spirit and community from everybody out here present today. And as you said, Casey, we've got ourselves a great game, 3-3. Seattle able to bring it back tied up, and now we're going to get another look at this Triforce offense. Excited to see what they're going to come out with.
And I'm going to be really interested to see the adjustment from Seattle of how to kind of take away these quick throw and go movement. You know, we've seen the adjustments of this tour of how to kind of prevent the deep looks where they're throwing these junks or they're flashing these lanes. But when you have these quick throw and go handlers that are loving to break, what do you do and how does Seattle make this adjustment of kind of taking away the quick handler movement? You have Triforce in a side stack. Seattle looking to sag off a little bit right now. It's a flood play, looking to the break side. Big shot deep. And just flying a little too far.
The Seattle team happy to get this break opportunity. We saw some great defense in that side stack. A huge deep cut at the beginning. I thought the throw was going to go up, but Achilles doing what he can to jump out in the way, prevent that throw from going up, and then this deep shot from Triforce not able to convert. We see June walking it up for Seattle. Seattle in their vertical stack.
And kind of an interesting adjustment on the fly. Triforce kind of bracketing the front of the stack and sagging into the lane. A really cool call on the fly against Seattle's vert to get a short field turnover. Now we get to see Triforce work in the end zone and really pay attention to see their kind of throw and go movement from their handlers and how they change the angle of attack. Back to the center. Again, really isolating 3 players. Constant movement by the Triforce. A bounce, but a great focus by David to grab that. Again, throwing and going. Constant movement by these handlers. Floating over the top. Great touch throw and footwork. Jack getting those toes in bounds. And Daniel doing an amazing job of just recognizing the poach and just fitting over the defender. Again, throw open side, go open side. Getting these great upline strikes and chipping away and gaining yards. Again, another throw open, go open. You have a kind of switch poach. June is sitting in the lane, and Daniel just floats it right over. It's such a difficult throw, and to get the feet in, especially in this kind of swirly wind, when you put that much angle on the disc, a lot of times that disc can just go any which way, and Daniel doing a great job of snapping it over, a touch throw right over a defender. Really exciting offense by Triforce.
Absolutely, and the stack doing an excellent job staying disciplined, staying out of that space so that the Triforce handlers are able to swing it, able to see that throw and go motion that we saw that led to them scoring. Now we've got Seattle back on offense. They were able to get a D last point, but weren't able to convert it, but still able to apply a lot of pressure, and both teams firing really well right now. Excited to see what this Seattle offense brings, whether it's one of these pull plays that we've been watching them do all tour, and to see how Triforce responds to that, and to see how these teams and these throwers continue to adjust to the wind and the heat out here today.
You know, I'm going to pay attention to these throw and goes too. I'm wanting to see Seattle kind of do these handler switches. It's so tough. I mean, you can always ask your players to work harder and run faster, but when you have some quick throw and go handlers who are really just well versed in that movement, you can never really make up that step and put on a solid mark. It's going to be really interesting to see if Seattle starts switching those. June did a good job of floating in the lane, but next time if June goes with that defender, not only is Triforce trapped on the sideline, but then everyone is still matched up and Daniel doesn't get to even throw that blade over the top.
Absolutely. So we still got ourselves an exciting game, 3-4. Triforce with the pull coming down on defense right now.
Great hanging pull. Triforce getting all the way down there with defense set on that first throw. Again, sagging in the lane. It looks kind of like a junky, poachy set. Again, off thrown a little wide off to the sideline, and Triforce again with a short field to work.
We've got number 51, Kevin, picking up the disc. He's been a solid rock for this Triforce offense. We see him picking up the disc, looking downfield, swinging the disc to the middle of the field. Triforce doing a great job of keeping 3 players isolated in the front so they're able to throw and go. We've talked about the discipline last time. You can see that stack staying nice and chilly in this area. So we've got the 3 players working it up nicely, working together, giving and going, tons of weaving and using both sides of the field. And there we see the shot into the end zone. Number 4, Albert, able to bring in that score. Excellent work from all the players on this Triforce team. We see there number 27, Jason Manning, doing a lot of the work as these 3 players are isolated. Again, Kevin, he's been a big part of this offense for Triforce. So we get a nice shot of the score happening right there for Triforce, and that's a break.
And again, Abby, I am just loving this tour where we get to see so many different end zone types of offense and end zone different styles. Whether it's a vert stack ISO'd from the front, whether it's this kind of like handler weave where it's 3 players kind of throwing and going, throwing open side, going open side, and when the defense overcommits, throwing those break side. We got to see kind of a stack in the back where everyone had their kind of heels on the back of the end zone. They're isolating from the kind of back of the end zone. We got to see, just kind of all these different kind of wrinkles to an end zone offense. When you think about, okay, this is how everyone runs end zone, you can see on this tour that's just not true. There's so many little wrinkles. There's so many little adjustments and styles of play. Yes, Triforce is running horizontal or side stack or vert stack, but just the style of play of like whether it's handler driven or just the unique ways that different teams cut deep, like the DC team really cutting deep from different, like from handler sets. You didn't see that all tour where the handler cut was this really a deep look instead of these upline strikes. I'm just really enjoying the different styles of play, and that big time break was huge. Triforce kind of back again in rhythm, looking to attack Seattle.
Yeah, that style of end zone reminds me of the Whitman Sweets women's team from I'm forgetting what year now, but the year that they ran it, and it carried them all the way into the national finals where they played excellently. But the style of having just a couple players doing the work, relying on those upline throws, relying on this give-go movement that is so difficult to stop. And I'm excited to see if Seattle adjust in their red zone defense, trying to prevent those 3 players isolated from doing the work that we've seen them do.
And again, another huge pull, pinning Seattle in the middle of their end zone. And you have this kind of bracket of the vert stack. You can see Seattle calling out that it's zony. And again, another tough throw. This is the 3rd short field turnover by Seattle. And Seattle, Triforce doing an amazing job on defense, but Seattle just putting themselves in difficult positions, letting Triforce hit their wheelhouse of these throw and go quick movements right in end zone when it's just so deadly to stop. Again, in the middle, disc in the middle, and again, throw and go, throw open side, go open side. Such speed by the Triforce, making the angle of attack and just ISOing these 3 players. Disc on the sideline. Great job moving it off the line. You can tell there's a subtle adjustment upfield from the Seattle defenders, really just saying, okay, we have to poach a little more. And great grab by Simon, finding the end zone. And again, this Triforce end zone offense of just 3 players going throw open, go open, breaking when they want to, is really dangerous right now and feels really unstoppable. They've been highly efficient and looking right now unstoppable.
Absolutely. We're seeing Brennan and number 23, Gavin Russell, doing work outside of that end zone. Seattle not able to stop this efficient red zone offense that we've seen from the Triforce team. And I believe there was a timeout taken on the field, so we're going to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors. We will be right back. Thank you, everybody who has been tuning in so far. This game has been a game of breaks. We saw Triforce go up 3-1. Seattle able to answer back and tie the game at 3s, and now Triforce answering again with a couple of breaks, able to take this game to 6-3. We've seen some fantastic work from this Triforce offense and defense, able to force those short field turnovers at Casey that you were talking about. And so if you're the Seattle team and you're not able to string together even a couple of completions right now, I think you've got to start to push that disc down the field. If things aren't clicking at this moment, maybe you take that risk and you take that deep shot. Even if it doesn't work, at least you're going to make Triforce go 70 yards as opposed to this 15, 20 yards that we've seen in the last few points.
Yeah, and I agree that Seattle needs to start opening up their deep game, but it's also still about making completions. Right now they're making these kind of little mental errors all game, whether these kind of like underthrows that are going too far, whether these drops. I'm going to be interested to see that kind of bracket of the vert stack was pretty strong from Triforce. I'd be interested to see if Seattle goes horizontal to try to be a little more versatile if they come zone, if they come all these things. There's not those kind of transition moments. Right now, Seattle is kind of mentally fatigued, and in those kind of recognitions of, oh, it's a junk zone, we're trying to transition, it's coming like a half second late, and then the cuts are coming a half second late, and that's when the drops, or it's pushed a little off to the sideline, or when that mark is just bothering you just a little too much. So those are all those kind of mental fatigue moments that we're seeing from Seattle. Another interesting thing is Seattle made this adjustment when they're in end zone. The cutters guarding the stack just went full on kind of poachy zone where they had multiple people in the lane trying to help out that kind of 3-person ISO, which really exciting for me to see is like when that happens, we're going to get to see some hammers, we're going to get to see some blades, we're going to get to see some creative throwing from Triforce if that defense continues in the end zone from Seattle.
Absolutely, and then we'll get to see how the wind affects those throws too. We can hear the Triforce team getting into it on the sideline. This relentless support of their teammates has been evident from point one.
And again, this kind of poachy D by Triforce trying to stop that first kind of pull play. And again, another kind of overthrow by Seattle. Right now, Triforce around their own brick mark, a little above their brick mark, looking to get another break. Big shot deep. Floats up in a little air. A little bit of a trip, but a soft going up high to get the disc. And then going quickly. Big time layout. Jasper able to hold on. Call on the play. Disc is tapped back in. Turner with the disc, looking deep, shot off. Nobis has a step, running it down on the goal line. Seattle finding someone, and a goal. Seattle using their deep attack game to find the end zone. IG getting the end zone and the goal.
Yeah, Seattle doing a lot of work. We saw that huge D from Asaf and then able to get the movement started quickly for the Seattle team. We saw some great movement. They were able to get a few completions before the first turnover, but then still just leading their players a little bit too far and now able to get some momentum, get some nice handler movement, and then able to hit that shot deep. And that's exactly what the Seattle team needs in this moment. Able to get a point on the board, able to send their defensive players out there, and hopefully able to slow down this Triforce offense a little bit.
And last Triforce offensive point was kind of this side stack flood to a deep look. I really love that call. We've been talking, Abby and I have just been talking about their handler movement, their give goes, these up lines. And I think this is the time kind of in the mid game for Triforce to really establish their deep presence. They have some great throwers deep and also just some really dominant players in the air, and this feels like a point where, like, right now Seattle's getting locked into this kind of throw and go handler movement. They're thinking so much about their handler movement that I wouldn't be surprised to see Triforce open it up and go big at this point.
Absolutely. We've got ourselves a heck of a game. Again, this is game 9 of this Dis Northwest Tier 206 tour. It's incredible that we've been able to broadcast all 9 games to you through all the different conditions that we have met on the East Coast. We started off with lightning and thunder in Boston, I think, is where we started, and then we've traveled all over the place. We broadcast 2 live games to you last night from Arlington, Virginia. Here we are this morning, bring you 2 more games, so just shout out to everyone who has made this 206 tour possible.
And a big pull by Jack Brown. Unsure if it was going to come in, but a little encouragement from the Seattle sideline. Gets the disc back in the middle. Big shot deep. Multiple players underneath it. And Triforce pulling it down. Ramy doing a great job taking off. A wonderful throw.
And
pulling it down.
And Ramsey is a is a huge player for this Triforce team. We can see his ability to read the disc and then go up strong. The pancake clapper in the back of the end zone. A great effort from the Seattle defender, but Ramsey showing what he can do as a deep threat. Interesting that we also saw another deep cut coming from that far side, and that Triforce player following and doing a great job of also getting in the play. We've seen this wind pop-up disc, so shout out to that player also doing work to get his teammates back. But that was some great movement that we saw from that Triforce offense.
Yeah, great find, Abby. You kind of don't see those hustle plays until they're really needed, but backing up that play in case it gets tipped, if it gets popped up, so many weird things can happen, and it takes that extra effort when you see that throw to go up, it wasn't to me, but I'm going to be sprinting down anyway just in case. Those little hustle plays usually get unnoticed, but are so important for teams to get those kind of, when you think about, oh, that's just a lucky play, or oh, it's just a lucky tip, but you really create your own luck in those moments when you're kind of creating those hustle plays right there.
Absolutely. We're getting a nice shot of the fans who are out here supporting this Triforce team. They're up 7-4, looking for a break to take them into halftime at this moment. Seattle hoping for some more momentum on offense, hopefully able to connect a few more passes. We saw them open up their deep game a little bit, but are they able to pick it up a little bit more? We can hear the U20 girls team getting involved, cheering on their U20 boys in this final game of the tour.
And it's interesting how this wind shift. It does definitely feel kind of like an upwind, downwind game. These throwers and these players are so excellent that I'm not worried that they're going to have trouble throwing in this wind, but it really just makes the kind of the deep shot going downwind a little more viable and a little more dangerous from all the different spots, and it just feels like you get clamped into a smaller field when you're going upwind. As you can see, that pull, right, getting taken by the wind. Seattle with a short field, and kind of with this wind and the type of throws that are on Seattle, all end zone cuts right now are pretty viable.
We're seeing some poaches in the lane. I think that's doing a great job of slowing down the Seattle offense as we see the deep shot go up. A huge bid. Is he able to hit? It looks like he was able to hang on to it, but landing out of bounds. Oh, a big time play from Soren on the Seattle Silly Soars, but unable to keep his toes in bounds. An unfortunate turnover for Seattle.
But shout out to Friction Gloves for making that great sticky grab. Soren running full speed, able to lay out and grab the disc, unfortunately out of bounds. Triforce in a side stack. Again, with that kind of deep help poach, great recognition by Triforce to take advantage. Seattle forcing into the stack. Look, it sounds like a forced middle, really trying to stop that continuation throw. Big shot coming. Curving. Out of bounds. Unsure if the Triforce player touched it and if the disc is going to come back closer. Does look like he touched it, and Turner is tapping the disc on the goal line.
Albert has had a big, deep presence for that Triforce team. Exciting to see that shot go up. He's not able to keep it inbounds as Seattle returns with a deep shot of their own. It looks like the players are getting a little bit tangled. Wouldn't be surprised to see a call here.
Big shot. Kai getting tangled in the Triforce legs early. I think they were discussing if it was catchable. It's such a tough moment right there when players get tripped up early. Never sure what to do, especially as a defender when you felt like, oh, I had great position, I was going to run it down. When legs get tangled, really just a tough moment. I really appreciate the kind of the focus and calm that these players are discussing this, even in a big game.
Absolutely. We saw a wonderful discussion from those two players. Great work from Brendan Cramling, playing impressive defense in that deep space. It appears that the disc is going to go back. And so we're going to see if that deep shot comes up again or what Seattle is able to generate out of their offense.
Seattle in a vert stack. Triforce putting a lot of pressure with their marks. Nobis looking to shoot towards the end zone. Floating and sailing out of bounds. We can see, we talked a lot about how the wind was affecting kind of going upwind. You can see two or three throws really sailing out the back. The wind pushing the disc, even going downwind a little further than I think the Seattle players are used to.
Absolutely, and the wind is steady at times. There's definitely a breeze that is consistently here throughout the game, but then also these huge gusts that it's just difficult to predict, difficult to get used to. And now we've got Triforce, after a long point, picking up the disc at the front of the end zone, trying to convert to take this game into halftime.
Side stack, there was a bracket. Great job pulling the deep in. Great shot deep. Triforce on the goal line, has a receiver for the break and the goal. Great huck, but also just thinking about how the cutters use their movement to run through the poach to force that deep look to be open. David coming. Big shot deep. And you can see just Triforce running it down. It's such a difficult throw deep in this wind. And Brennan grabbing the disc for the break, following the play, not giving up on the play. Really remarkable to take Triforce to break for half.
Yeah. Number 22, Maddie Lee, doing a fantastic job of recognizing the Seattle brackets and then able to find the open space, seeing when there was a miscommunication and striking deep. Triforce able to take advantage of that and take us into halftime. At this time, we're going to send it to commercial break. Please join us back after this quick commercial.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
Documentary shorts.
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
And a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
I promise that I will love you forever and always.
Jinx, and he's in.
Welcome back. We are at halftime. North Carolina is up 8-4 on Seattle in our final game of the Dis Northwest Tier 206 Tour. We want to give another shout out to one of our fantastic sponsors, Cut Camp. Cut Camp is an overnight summer camp for high school age players looking to develop their ultimate skills in a fun and competitive setting. Cut is the perfect place to find lifelong friends from across the country and improve your ultimate skills together. Come learn from the best players and coaches in the game. If you love Ultimate, you can find out more at competitiveultimatetraining.com. Cut Camp, go there. And now we're going to take another look into Cut Camp.
My name is Arnush Javaharian, otherwise known as Java, and I am the founder and executive director of Cut Camp.
My name is Jaden. I'm from Toronto, and I'm 18 years old. I came to Cut Camp because it's a great opportunity to get better at the sport I love the most, which is Ultimate Frisbee.
You can't find anything as unique as what you have at Cut Camp. It's an experience, honestly, you won't get anywhere else. With the coaches and the people that come here, everyone wants to be here. It's just an environment that is just so amazing to be around.
I think what made me want to become a coach most was probably Java's enthusiasm. I also really wanted the opportunity to hang out with some of the most knowledgeable players in the country.
We bring in coaches from all over the nation, and I'm talking about the best players, top-notch club players that are playing the game at the highest levels, such as Goose and Jesse Schaffner and Claire Chastain, Opie Payne, Khalifa El Salam. I could go on and on down the list of these amazing coaches that have given up their time to come here and to really give back to the youth Ultimate World and to help grow it and make it amazing.
I came to Cut Camp because I am very passionate about Frisbee. I want to do it for a very long time, and the people that I know who have gone through the program said it was really good, and I thought that it would be a great opportunity for me to learn from these pro athletes that I've been looking up to for so long, and to just take advantage of the opportunity and just, I don't know, learn.
My name is Chrissy Lind Hunter. I'm Filipino-British, but I grew up in Hong Kong. I played for the GB mixed team, but I now currently live in Malaysia. Over the last few years, I've been playing with GB mixed. I now play for Black Widows. We're going to the US Open for the first time. We are our first multi-Asian country women's team to go to the US Open. I actually enjoy that the coaches get a chance to see what the kids want to do and see what their strengths are, as well as what the coaches have skills they can bring. and make an experience for these kids that's really personal and tailored to them.
Well, Cut Camp is growing at an immense rate. Just 4 years ago, we only had Chicago. Now we are in North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, and Toronto, Ontario.
Welcome back. We are at halftime where we've seen a fantastic game between Triforce and the Seattle Silly Saurs. We are so excited for this final half of the Disc Northwest Tier 206 Tour. Again, my name is Abby Abramovich, and right now I am joined with Tristan Green, the Executive Director for Triangle Ultimate. Tristan, welcome to the booth.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Tristan, can you tell us a little bit more about Triangle Ultimate?
Yeah, so Triangle Ultimate's a local disc organization in the Triangle region of North Carolina, and so that's really Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. We've been around for a long time, 25 plus years, but it's been really cool to see kind of how the organization and how the community has grown. And so we started just really kind of adult rec leagues and adult ultimate happening, and then kind of through the 2000s, youth ultimate started to really start up, and it's been really cool to see kind of really in the past decade, the past 10 years, seeing how the youth scene has really started to explode and how that has then kind of trickled into all the other parts of Triangle Ultimate. We run programs all year round, but one of the big things that we really try to do as an organization is we see our mission as growing the community, and so that's not necessarily just around the programs that we run, it's around growing the number of people, growing the amount of kind of connections and relationships that are happening in the Triangle Ultimate community. And so whether that's having our youth players, these YCC teams are playing in some of our adult leagues and are playing against and with some of the adult competition, or whether it's having a lot of different kind of community events. And so this has been an amazing opportunity as just one of those kind of events that's really bringing the community together, where we're having adult players, we're having coaches or people that may not have even ever seen some of our youth players play before, and they're getting a chance to see that and really kind of celebrate that, and whether it's on or off the field, just creating those kind of connections and relationships and building that community is what we're trying to do with Triangle Ultimate.
Absolutely, and it's been apparent how incredible this community is from the moment the bus rolled up this morning. We had so many people running up to us, offering to help us. You are holding down our tent right now as it attempts to blow away in this gusty wind. So just an incredible showcase of community. Have you seen any growth in your youth ultimate these past few years or the past decade? I know you said TU has been around for 25 years, so just can you speak a little bit to the growth you've seen?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been really amazing for me where I grew up in the Triangle, and so I started playing Ultimate Frisbee in middle school just down the road in Chapel Hill. And at that point in time, we had like a few middle school teams. I went to Carolina Friends School for high school. We'd started to develop, but I don't think our team even went to high school states once. It was right when kind of things were starting. Then went to UNC and played with Darkside, and so kind of getting to see those different levels, and that was kind of right at the beginning of when we were kind of starting to have a lot of youth growth, and then seeing where it is now, where we have 30 plus middle school teams, 30 plus high school teams going, and kind of seeing also the kind of programs that are establishing in that kind of pipeline that between middle school teams flowing into high school teams, flowing into college teams, flowing into club teams. With U24s just completing, we had 10 or 15 kids on the U24 teams. And also seeing again the kind of the community and the relationship aspect of that, where Triforce is missing, I think, 4 or 5 of their coaches who have been helping out this season because they're all playing U24s and are in Germany right now. And so just the kind of the growth as far as the quantity of players, but the growth as well as kind of that commitment of those players and the skill and talent that's been developing has been really cool to see.
Absolutely, and that's definitely evident by the success that we've seen from those players and teams from the Triforce and Triangle Triangle Ultimate community. Tristan, what are your thoughts on the game that we've seen so far today?
It's been a little windy, a little hot, so elements are definitely taking play. Definitely seems that Dis Northwest or Seattle is bringing their A game, but it definitely looks like they've been on tour for a little bit. And so that definitely can take a toll sometimes when they just rolling up on the bus. Sounds like they got a few hours of sleep, and so battling a lot of externals in this game, whether it's the elements or everything else that's been happening. But it's been a showcase of high-level Ultimate, which has been really cool to see.
Awesome. Tristan, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for sharing more about TU. It was so great to hear about everything that you were doing, not only for the program itself, but also for the community. Thank you so much, Tristan.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, we've watched a couple of turnovers happen from each team. Triforce with the disc in the middle of the field, looking upfield, trying to get another point on the board to increase their lead over the Seattle team. As Tristan was telling us, the heat and the wind have been a huge factor in the game today. There, as we see another D from this Triforce team, and a shot deep for Seattle, able to reel it in for the score. An incredible deep shot after the quick turnover from Seattle.
Jack Brown able to just climb the ladder, defy gravity up here. The disc is shooting. Tony doing a great job of ripping that into the end zone, upwind. Jack tracking, looking and flying and going up and grabbing the disc. Jack Brown with a big break. You know, it's so nice after half or a big grab after half to grab, to score. You know, there's multiple turns. People are getting tired, and just to punch that in, to make that play. Great grab, great throw by Tony.
Yeah, and a fantastic effort from number 7, Daniel on Triforce. You saw him there making a play, going up for that disc. Again, it's windy. You don't know when it's going to pop up, when it's going to settle down, but great presence from Daniel on that Triforce D. All right, so we see Seattle get a point on the board coming out of this halftime. They're still down 5-8. What do you think they need to do to claw themselves out of this small hole they're in right now?
Well, a couple of subtle adjustments that I think Seattle has made is like they're switching that handler give-go. You saw Martin call that switch. They're doing a little more things to just really kind of corral Seattle onto the sideline. And not only that, but this game is getting a little more physical. You can tell both teams are kind of trying to make this adjustment of like raising the physicality. Not only Martin making sure that he was okay after that layout that bumped into him, but you can just tell upfield teams are getting kind of a little closer. So both teams are saying, okay, we're going to kind of stick to our person probably in the second half and just kind of go like a half a step closer and kind of bump. You're going to see a lot of shoulders. In those moments, I love a physical game of Ultimate. We also have to make sure that players are fatigued and that physicality is going to be safe. These players have excellent body control and making sure that they're doing everything possible to stay safe out there. But it is fatigue gets in, the heat, and when you are wanting to play a physical game, just to make sure that everyone's okay and there's body control.
Absolutely, and there is a fine line between making a huge play and then making a dangerous play, and sometimes it's hard to tell, and I think so far we've seen a little bit of contact, but overall, both teams showcasing some body control in these bids that we're seeing out here today.
So, Triforce in a side stack, you can really see Seattle sagging off the lane. It looks like a flood play coming in the break side. David playing that center field position. There's going to be throws off to the open side and a turnover. A foul was called on the throw. They're discussing of like when the disc was released. It's kind of an interesting moment where the Seattle player was coming. Gabe Novus was coming from behind him. And it looks like there's a little contact after, or Gabe is talking about after the throw, and the Triforce player is talking about during the release point. a really kind of interesting rule. As a thrower, I always like my follow-through, and I feel like when I get hit on my follow-through, I understand that it's not a foul, but I always feel like it should be a foul.
And it's always difficult to tell, right? I've been on both sides of those calls before. You are positive that someone hit your hand. You're positive that you hit the disc first. You're positive that even if there was contact, it was after the play. And so a great showcase of spirit of the game that players are able to disagree, which happens in our game, but still able to come to a conclusion quickly and while listening to each other. Just a great showcase of the spirit of the game.
So wind picking up, these big kind of gusts of wind in this game has just been kind of picking up at random times. Triforce on the end zone line, looking to get into their handler set, kind of those give-go movements again. Seattle doing a great job of playing tight dump deep, but player sneaks around, up fine. High stall count, it's going to float to the end zone. Multiple people, big crowd, going up and grab it. And it looks like Triforce comes down in the pile. Fantastic grab.
And the Seattle defense doing everything they can. They're forcing this late stall count kind of Hail Mary into a pile of people in the end zone. You can see the winds taking effect, and Triforce able to get multiple bodies, both teams able to get multiple bodies on their disc, and it looks like 2 players, number 13 and another Triforce player, able to both come down with the disc. That looks like number 3, Josh Singleton. We've seen him involved in multiple big plays, but great effort by both teams. We've talked about it before. In windy conditions, you want to get as many bodies under the disc as possible. Seattle doing a great job there, just unable to come down with it this time. And I also really want to shout out the mark that we saw on that throw. We've talked about Achilles and how much he is able to guard when he's guarding these handlers. We saw a fantastic mark, him moving his feet a ton, staying controlled and confident on as he's guarding the person with the disc, and just an unfortunate that Triforce was able to come down with that for that Seattle team, but you've got to be happy with that end zone defense.
Yeah, 9 seconds of really hard-nosed D, a kind of toss to the end zone. I also think that's just kind of a veteran play, though, too. When stall 9, you're on the end zone line, take a shot, and let your players to make a play. You know, we've seen such classic end zone offense, you know, this really beautiful handler weave, kind of this give-go. And at sometimes, you know, you got to just say, okay, you played great 9 seconds. We're going to throw it in the end zone and let our players kind of go up and try to make a play. Give yourself a little chance to score in that moment, too. Take a risky shot.
All right, so we've got ourselves a game here. Seattle 5, Triforce 9. This is a time that Seattle has really got to pick it up. If they want to stay into this game, they've got to be able to convert on offense. Got to be able to hold on offense, then get the D, and then convert on offense. So they're really going to have to put things together here to be able to stay in this game.
And this is kind of, you know, we've talked about the wind, but this is when the turf gets really hot. Your legs start to feeling a little fatigued. You're maybe not thinking about all the many breaks you really need. This is a mental game now for both teams to, after a point is over, to get some shade, get some water, and then immediately get back on the sideline to give your players on the field all that energy. You can see Triforce again with this kind of junky zone, trying to get Seattle out of their full play set, and Seattle again struggling to find the open player and doing a short field turn again, letting Triforce get into their handler driven end zone. There's that throw and go. And a big layout by us off, but also gives an opportunity for Triforce to keep throwing and going. Break side throw for, again, a break. Triforce seemingly relentless with those throw and go movements, attacking on the break side, attacking on the open side. You can see a big layout by us off, but then that just opens up so many windows for the Triforce players to catch, and then they do a little bit of a switch here, but there's a miscommunication, right, that allows Daniel to just, or I'm sorry, Kevin, just to see all of the field and hit their player right in stride.
Absolutely, and that handler movement, we're seeing the switches from Seattle, but Triforce is ready for them. They're able to attack on that break side. That actually reminds me of the UC San Diego team that just won a national national championship in the women's division. They had great handler movement, and when teams were trying to switch on them, just as Seattle is trying to do on Triforce, we see this handler say, okay, I see you switching, I'm going to attack this break side while you're out of position at this moment, and able to attack in a completely new direction.
And you know, we've said this all tour, you know, as teams adjust to try to take away option A, option B is open, or like that big adjustment opens up a new angle for teams, and it's been so much fun to watch these kind of like counter adjustments where, okay, so this is the adjustment to the adjustment, and you're absolutely right. Triforce has established that they love to throw and go up line, attack in the end zone, constant movement, and Seattle's adjusting with these kind of switches, but that switch is to take away option A, and now option B is opening up with these great breakthrows around, and Triforce absolutely not without hesitation taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and we saw Kelly Johnson out there talking to her team. Got the Triforce team polling. They've been on a few break runs, trying to continue to keep that up as we go into kind of this third, fourth quarter of the game. If Seattle wants to stay in this game, they've got to score quickly. They've got to get breaks quickly. And Triforce trying to do what they can to keep up this energy and momentum that they've had for so much of the time during this game.
And Triforce has just been relentless with their legs. This kind of poachy zone, kind of transition zone, has really made Seattle struggle early, not being able to get a lot of movement and having to throw some handlers to handler early in the stall count. But the biggest thing now is for Seattle to match the same energy that Triforce has. Right now, Triforce is winning their individual matchups. Right now, Jasper with the disc in the middle, tight window. Nobis throwing to space. Again, Seattle now move the disc quickly. From cutter to cutter is when Seattle has looked really strong, or when their handlers are getting into power position, able to huck. Triforce doing a good job of kind of stopping that movement, but now Seattle moving quickly and finding the end zone.
And that's exactly what Seattle needs in this moment. They've been struggling to get points on the board. Even when their offense is looking good, we've had some unfortunate errors coming from the wind, coming from the pressure from this Triforce D. And here Seattle staying composed, even though they've had tough moments this game, able to use that break side. We've seen Jasper be a threat downfield and with the disc in his hands, as we see a saucy little push pass from Tony, able to hit Jasper again, and Seattle able to put a point on the board. So we haven't seen the cleanest points from Seattle, but Tony showing that he can get it done out there. This wind is nothing to him. Happy to throw those saucy little push passes over the mark and able to hit Jasper in stride.
And something to pay attention is like kind of the speed we're throwing at. You know, the Triforce players move the disc so fast and really look great when they're moving with speed. And when Seattle is throwing the disc quickly, is moving with speed, it's those moments when you get to stall 7, stall 8 is when both teams have kind of struggled, and that's when defenses are really locking in. This offense, both offenses love to throw and go, love to kind of do these creative give-goes and to like change the angle of attack. When the disc is moving quickly, even though it's maybe not gaining a ton of yards right away, the angle of attack changes, and all those subtle adjustments that you want to make as a upfield defender are so difficult when the disc constantly moves side to side or just changes positions, or all of a sudden it's in a power position, or all of a sudden the break side is more open than you thought it was. Really difficult to adjust upfield, and both offenses showing when they're moving with pace is when they're really most effective.
Yeah, this Triforce team able to move with pace throughout the entire game. They've got a team full of athletes here. We have a little bit of information from their team about some of their hobbies. We've got tap dancers, we've got track and cross country runners, we've got a lot of people who have families on this other teams, and just overall an athletic demonstration from this Triforce team.
Triforce started off in a side stack. Seattle in a force middle. Big layout into the sideline. Hope everyone's okay. A little bit of a crash into the camera. Ramsey with the disc. It looks like Seattle locking into the home force. A big layout deep by Asaf. Call on the play.
Not sure what the call is here, but going back to that catch that we saw from Ramsey on the sideline, incredible ability to reel that disc in as you're coming into the sideline in these tricky situations. It looks like in this situation the disc is going back, so Triforce will keep the disc from that contested call, and they're about 30 yards outside their end zone at the moment.
Popped up a little high. Isaac with the D, but Asaf running down for a second effort. And a great grab by the Triforce player out of bounds, though. And you can see just kind of multiple efforts, multiple Ds, and just the inches that both teams are kind of fighting for. Big shot up. Oh, the disc doing some weird things in this wind. It jumped up and then immediately jumped back down, kind of screwing up the timing of the offensive player as a big gust takes one of our tents away.
Yeah, Will Johnson doing what he can to track that disc as it heads towards the end zone. But as you said, Casey, that disc taking a crazy flight. Will Johnson hitting the ground but unable to come up with it. However, this is a big field that Triforce has to go. We've seen Seattle make some short field turnovers in the past. Nice that at least Triforce has to march it up 70 yards in this wind.
And Triforce in the side stack. Pick was called. Moving, transitioning into a vert stack. Again, Triforce loving to throw open, go open with these handlers, no matter where they are. And Tony with a big layout D. Short field for Seattle. Tony picking up quick, looking to shoot. Finding us off on the side. Great handler D. Floats up. Again, throw and go. Tony just constantly catching and throwing. And a shot to the end zone for a Seattle goal. And June racing to the cone. Looking exhausted after that point.
Excellent work from the Seattle team. We saw huge layout Ds. It is a hot, windy day out here. We can feel the heat blowing at us as we're sitting on the sideline. It feels like a hairdryer is pointed right at you right now. But the Seattle team showing that they are not done yet. In this final game of their tour, they are out here and they are grinding, putting their bodies on the line to get those Ds.
And we can see that both teams are kind of ratcheting up the D intensity, really laying out in both spots, trying to go for their second chance. This game is really about inches right now and forcing players to throw something difficult in this wind, or as the wind kind of pops up disc, there's going to be multiple efforts and opportunities for players, whether it's a tip disc or just a disc that sails over one of the intended receiver's head. It is going to just be next 17 minutes is just going to be grit and grind.
Absolutely. You can see the Triforce players getting some water. This is a hot, hot day. You can see the clock winding down. There's 17 minutes remaining until hard cap. We've talked about it, but Seattle has got to score and get these breaks quickly if they want to stay in this game. Triforce looking to stay calm and collected while they have the lead, but it's difficult to not fall into the lulls, right? When you're up by a lot, you've had this momentum for a long time. It's natural for there to be a lull, for your sideline to get a little bit quieter. So this is a great time for Triforce to practice picking up their energy. They're going to face this later in their season as they continue to go to tournaments of, okay, we played one game, now we've got to bye, we're up a little bit, now we've kind of fallen back, we got to pick it up again. So great practice for Triforce to bring energy throughout an entire game.
And we've talked about energy this whole game. I mean, when there's so much intensity and so much speed on the field, it really does feel like an energy game, because when both teams love to move the disc quickly, love to do these kind of big effort cuts, that those little energy, a lull in energy, and avoiding those lull points are so important. As you can see, Achilles just diving into the open side lane, trying to prevent those hucks. Again, Seattle making this subtle adjustment with this force middle. Big shot deep. Has a receiver right in stride, and the grab. Triforce showing off their deep attack game.
That was a beautiful backhand huck. This reminds me of the deep shots that we were seeing early in this game. There we see the Triforce player with the disc. Achilles jumping in the lane, but not able to get a hand on it. Isaac running on D, but the Triforce player doing a great job keeping out in front of him, using his positioning. Number 5, Brennan, he's been a huge part of this Triforce team so far, and we see him get the glory with another goal. Oh, and I believe that the game is over because the teams are high-fiving. That is a great signal that the game is over. So North Carolina able to take it 11-7. A great game that we saw, and I cannot believe we have made it through this tour. We wrap up game 9. I don't even know what city we're in anymore. The Fulcrum Media crew able to bring you 9 live streamed games from across the East Coast, but also big shout out to all the players out there who have been grinding through this entire tour.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Big shout out to the players. I've been able to sit in shade and booth and just get to talk. I just am so impressed by the remarkable effort and heart of all of these players from Seattle. Thank you again also for all the host families, the host teams, all the volunteers to making us feel so welcome no matter what city we're in, and then to put on just such fantastic Ultimate on the field. I want to give a big shout out to Aria, one of the big sponsors of this tour. The Disc Northwest Tier 206 Tour is sponsored by Aria, precision crafted with high level of play in mind and supporting growth and accessibility with every disc sold. Aria believes in changing the world through Ultimate. For more information, please visit us at aria-disc.com. Thank you for supporting the Disc Northwest Tier 206 Tour and Aria Disc. We could not have done this with all the remarkable support, all the homestays, the parents saying, hey, do you need to do laundry, making us feel welcome, the volunteers. A big shout out to all the coaches too, not only from Seattle, but all the teams we visited. We also had so many volunteers in the booth kind of just helping us out, feeding us, making us feel really at home and comfort. But another huge shout out to all of our sponsors. It really takes a community to make this possible. Thank you 5 Ultimate, Cut Camp, Spike Ball, all the Got Your Back team, Fulcrum Media Group, Game Point Performance, Friction Glove, and Aria Disc. Right now we're going to go down to the field with Abby Abramovich and the Aria player of the game.
Thank you so much to all of the viewers who have been tuned in for that incredible game. I am here with the Aria player of the game, Cal Nightingale. We were so impressed with his athletic abilities on the field, but also the spirit of the game and competitiveness out there. Cal, congrats on being the Aria player of the game. The fans at home and right here want to know what has the sport of Ultimate and its values meant to you so far?
Well, I started playing in the 6th grade, and most of my friends are honestly from the Ultimate community. Like, it's a great network. I've never seen another sport like it. Like, it's just people are friends on and off the field, and I just want to be around my team and other teams, you know, all the time. So.
Awesome. That's an incredible answer. Thank you again to everyone who made this tour possible. We are all done.
Good job.